varst bæði auralaus og illa klæddur maður með afa stóra fætur og raunalegar hendur. Þú hafðir enga þýðingu í þjóðmálum sem slíkur og það veit enginn til hvers þú varst í heiminn sendur. Og sjaldan heyrðist talað sálargáfur þínar og sennilegt þær hafi frekar lítinn ávöxt borið. Þú þekktir hvorki leyndardóma þessa heims né annars og það var ekki meir en svo þú kynnir faðir vorið. Þú reyndir samt að bjarga þér og fékkst á yngri árum við arðberandi fiskir í Grindavík og Leiru. En svo var eins og lukkan hefði lagt sig upp til hliðar. Það lögðust á því veikindi og skuldir ásamt fleiru. Þú áttir jafnvel stundum býsna örðugt með að lifa og ennfremur var tóbaksleysið kunnugt heima hjá þér og giktin sem raunráð og lúmskufull í skapi, hún lagðist oft svo herfilega þungt í bakið á þér. Þú kynnti stundum miðstöð fyrir kaupmanninn og prestinn og kaupið þitt var hærra en þér bara réttu lagi. Það var samt lítill vafi að því langaði í meira. Þú léstir jafnvel sæma að kvartum eigin hægi.
Okay, dokie. Hello everybody, you're watching Dead TV Live. I got the Icelandic flag behind me. You know, there's this woman, Brigida, and she got all hooked in with Alex Jones and everybody in the world when she became a WikiLeaks spokesperson. And I got all hooked in with the Icelanders because my son's Icelandic. Hi, Camille. And I got Camille Waldorf on the line with her uncle in a second. He's a Sikh, so we're going to touch a lot of bases. But first of all, I'm going to save a woman's life. In America, they're talking about hanging these traitors for the WikiLeaks file. And the Icelanders gave me the WikiLeaks file. And the only traitors I see is the people that read those files if they weren't authorized with a passport that I'm going to show you right here that my government said, my security clearance says that I can read what was in WikiLeaks. And what I did is I shredded. First, I got to show you my stuff because my government knows my bioscan and my German hosts. I'm German too. That says that you can look me up right now. It doesn't matter who says they're American right now. But that says that who I am. And I've got a Sikh sitting next to me, and we know all about Guru Nanak. And the president of China, who's supposed to be the spokeswoman, has just visited the prime minister, who is also a Sikh. And what we know about Sikhs is they're not just some towelheads, right? It's Guru Nanak and the 10 Ascended Masters. And we know about the last time there was a disconnect in Indian politics is when they had some Uttar Pradesh soldiers go into the Golden Temple and stop a reading that had been going on for 638 years or something insane. Which what happened was Guru Nanak and the Ascended Masters the last one was talking, and the scribes were writing as he was talking, and the minute he finished what was needed to be said about Guru Nanak's message and the other 9 masters, they repeated it non-stop vocally. And so these Hindi guys came in with guns because these militants, and this is the problem with militancy, and they armed the Golden Temple. And Indira Gandhi said, no way, you can't put up machine guns in the Golden Temple. But she made a mistake. She didn't have her Sikh soldiers go in there and say, duty on our country. And the teaching of the unifying wisdom of Guru Nanak, she had these guys who were Hindis that just said, Shiva, it's time to party with Kali Yoga. And so what happened was they had to kill themselves, and she lost her life and some of her children, and there was disharmony for a long time. Right?
Well, the element is that the Sikhs have been supporting India for thousands of years.
The world.
And what Indira Gandhi was doing was that she was, sitting in bed with the Russians trying to take over Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Right on. You're right. And socialism, it was the red horse.
Right. The Six generals and the Sikhs told her not to do that.
Yeah.
And in that regard, she revolted against her own community. Sikhs are part of India.
That's right.
And this is the first time that a prime minister uses the full force of the Air Force and
missiles
Lurie, against 90 people.
Yeah, I know.
In temple.
Yeah.
50,000 people, 50,000 soldiers. I was there, so I know. 50,000 soldiers.
I'm so sorry that that happened. Respectfully, I'm so sorry that that ever happened to happen. I told when 2001 happened, okay, I wrote the president of the North American Sikhs. I'll make this document council. I said if I had to choose a religion, if I had to be a religion, I would be a Sikh. But the thing is, I don't have to be a Sikh, so I'm going to protect Sikhs because the Sikhs protect everyone.
Absolutely, and to correct one thing,
Yeah.
you know, we, as much as Indira Gandhi did what she did, you know, and the politics of that time, that doesn't mean that we are against Hindus.
No, I know that. We know that. The Prime Minister is a unifying... Listen, in case you don't know, Guru Nanak was a Brahmin. He was a prince, and he chose a way between the Mughals of the time rulers, and a way of the Hindu traditions, and he emphasized feeding the poor, cleanliness, and support for the community and the family, and your body, and your lifestyle, your spirit, and your mind.
Take this as a statistic. Sikhs are less than 2% of the population of India.
Punjab, not in Punjab, they aren't.
we are 65% of the charity and philanthropy of India.
God bless you. God bless us all.
So, you know, for us, it is protecting human rights.
And that's why I'm a Sikh. Hey, can I tell people about Mayor Baba for a minute?
Go ahead. Mayor Baba, you know, certainly was a man who, you know, people might look at him and say that he was an ugly, you know, son of a bitch who really looked bad. But, you know, he was a beautiful man inside.
I know. So can I play a recording about Baba so people can learn about, because, you know, he loved Guru Nanak like nobody. They don't, in this film, they don't mention Guru Nanak, and I'm glad, because you can listen to this woman talk, but we've just mentioned Guru Nanak. So we just added to it because Mayor Baba was talking about also, Mayor Baba was, without using words, he was acting like an ascended master, like one of the 10 ascended masters. He just said the Zoroaster, there was honor with Zoroaster and with Muhammad, with Jesus, and with Christian, with Hindus. So let me just play this film so I don't make a mistake. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Meher Baba's life began quietly and it ended in silence. He was born Merwan Shehryar Irani in 1894 in the Indian town of Pune. His parents were Zoroastrian. His mother's family had come to India from Iran to escape religious persecution. His father, however, was a seeker of the truth and had come from Iran to India in search of God. Merwan attended British schools in Pune. He was an outstanding student and an excellent athlete. At the age of 19, while he was attending Deccan College, he met Hazrat Babajan, an aged Muslim woman from Afghanistan who lived in the open under a roadside neem tree. Babajan was regarded as a great spiritual figure by many of the residents of Pune. In fact, as Meher Baba later explained, Babajan was a God-realized soul and one of the 5 perfect masters of the age. It was Babajan who, with a kiss to his forehead, awakened Merwan to his spiritual destiny. Meher Baba's description of this event naturally leads into the world of mysticism, as he reveals for the first time what happens when the avatar is brought down to live in human form. He tells us that at all times there are 5 souls who are totally one with God. In the mystical traditions of the East, these 5 are known as perfect masters. They are man become God. Normally, they bear the responsibility for running the affairs of the universe. However, once every 700 or every 1400 years, they bring God down into human form. This descent of God is necessary because, while the perfect masters maintain control of the world, it's only the avatar who can change the world's destiny and bring about a new spiritual awakening. To effect this descent, the 5 perfect masters draw a veil of normal consciousness over the avatar and carefully arrange the circumstances of his birth. For a while, he appears as an ordinary person. And then, when the time is ripe, one of the perfect masters lifts this veil, and the avatar experiences his true existence as God. What happens next is the most critical period in the entire awakening. Working in concert, the 5 perfect masters train the avatar to balance his state of unlimited God realization with the limited consciousness of the normal or material world. This is difficult, as the material world is only a dim shadow of God's infinite existence and has no substance of its own. Essentially, the 5 perfect masters have to train the avatar to maintain his state of total enlightenment while existing in a dark world of shadows, without dissolving the shadows into light. It is very difficult for the avatar to achieve this delicate balance, but it is essential, for it affords him the ability to effect changes in the structure and the destiny of the world. This he achieves through all that he does, as his every act is grounded in the limitless existence of God. It was also during this training period, in the hands of the 5 perfect masters, that Merwan began gathering together a small group of disciples from Pune and Bombay. And once his training was complete, Merwan led them out to an abandoned military camp in a treeless and barren area near the town of Ahmednagar. Here, next to the severely impoverished village of Arangayan, he set about establishing the pillar of service to humanity that was to become one of his lifelong avataric tasks. Meher Baba, as he was now called, the name meaning compassionate father, established a free dispensary, hospital, and a school, and for the first time brought life's basic necessities to the destitute villages. While engaged in this work, he laboured to break down India's age-old religious and caste prejudices, stressing that God is equally in everyone. It was against this desolate but peacefully remote, arid landscape that Meher Baba began describing to his small group of followers the goal of life, the purpose of creation, and the avatar's role. He explained that it is the destiny of everyone to become one with God, and said that this process of man's perfection takes many lifetimes, first through innumerable subhuman forms, and then through many human forms. He expressed that the separation that leads the soul on its journey to union with God does not in reality exist. God alone is real. God is indivisible, infinite and eternal, and God is uncreated, without a beginning nor an end. He said that the apparent division of God's infinity into an infinite number of forms is necessary so that God can express the limitless love and compassion that is his true nature. Without this apparent separation, there is no possibility of love between the lover and the beloved. He said that the charm of love generated by this separation is so great that God cannot resist taking human form once every 700 or every 1400 years. And he said that each time he comes, he gives a great push to all souls in creation on their journey back to oneness with him, explaining that when God manifests on earth in the form of man and reveals his divinity to mankind, he is recognized as the Avatar, the Messiah, the Prophet. Thus God becomes man. And Meher Baba also says that the past forms of the Avatar have been Zoroaster, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad.
Wow. I love that lady's voice. So now I have to talk for a minute, Camille, before you guys can come back on. When my government gave me the security clearance that said I could only look at WikiLeaks and nobody else could, I shredded it. Do you know why? When the Icelanders handed me their file, I shredded it. You know why? Because what do the number of scientists who work on atomic energy, what does the Pakistani security service and the CIA have to hide? What do they do for a living? What do all governments do? First of all, they fight for their perspective. The second thing is they do everything. So I didn't need to see any of it. It's the same thing as like if I worked for the police and there was a case of child abuse. I don't need to see any photographs. If I'm presented with a file, I wouldn't even have that job because I don't want that in my mind. God gives strength to anybody who is a judge or a grand jury or someone who has to see that stuff, investigate that stuff. I can imagine what it's like. If somebody says they beat the child, I know what it's like to be beaten. If somebody says they molested a child, I know what it's like to have sex. So I don't ever need to look in a file. So I shredded everything. See, because everybody doesn't need to know what the Israelis know. All I know is we're taking a break. Now we're going to save somebody's life, though. Brigida, I played at the beginning of this recording. That was her mother. Already has a security clearance, and she's already a sitting member of the Parliament of Iceland, the all thingy. She's in Canada. Canada needs to present her to the Israeli embassy, or she needs to go present herself. And she needs to go back to Iceland. She believed in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and all that stuff, and was a spokesperson for a big game. If you've read those files and you're running to hide your money, we just deleted your ones and zeros. There is no market crash tomorrow. You're busted. That's all you need to know. And we've just talked about something really spiritual now. The best thing that anybody can do, because everybody has lost something and everybody is very tense about that, and people have died, and people are in jail, and people are being held hostage, and people are being traded, and there's arguments about power, is relax and understand that wise people are talking right now. And that isn't us. We're wise people. We're going to play music and talk about whatever my guests want to talk about. And we're going to get back to being little kids and our childlike nature, because that was all really serious. But Brigida, I need two things to happen. For everyone in Canada to be safe, they need to allow me to come and visit. For whatever reason, I'm welcome to go to India, I'm welcome to go to Pakistan, I'm welcome in Afghanistan, Iran, I'm welcome in any country that my State Department says I can go to except for Canada. I want that woman back in Iceland. She's not to be returned to the U.S. government. There is no witch trials. She believed in the Easter Bunny. She's a sitting member of Parliament. If we're going to talk about criminals in governments, then the list is long, and that's what's in that wiki file. And you've all opened your wiki files, so you would know around the world. I didn't need to see anything. See, because I know that people with these jobs have serious jobs, right? But I do trust the Sikhs, because they work for my government, they work for the British government, they work for India, and they work for the world. I am a Sikh. Special rules. Special rules. I could cut my beard, I could change my form. But I don't have to be a Sikh. Instead, I could be a human form. So I'm going to turn you back up, and because this is a totally different kind of show now. This just evolved, this show, into like something else, because we've already talked about that. But I want that woman. I want your opinion on what you think about what we just said. Camille, are you and your uncle on the line still?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, what do you think about all this stuff?
I think the time has come that people need to realize that truth will always end forward. So
That's
anyone who's fighting for truth, living by the truth, they have nothing to fear.
Here we go. I have nothing